Welcome to New York!
After spending the weekend in Philadelphia, we knew this would be the perfect opportunity to visit New York. So we took our first Amtrak train from Philly to New York, which was only about a 2-hour ride. Crazy enough, this was the cheapest purchase we made the whole entire time we were in New York because the tickets were only $19 a person. Before we get out exploring New York, we want to show you where we are staying. We are not staying in Manhattan, we are actually in Long Island City, which is about a 20-minute metro ride into Manhattan, so it's not too bad at all. Our place is pretty basic and affordable. It was only $700, okay, it's not that affordable, but it was almost $800 for 3 nights. It includes breakfast. That's one of the cheapest options that we could find though. So now let's show you the room. We have 2 full-size double beds. They are not the softest. They are, I mean, this one's a little soft, but that one is like super hard, which is a little disappointing seeing as we are in America again and we thought the beds would be softer, but.
Kind of hurt.
Oh well. We do have a microwave along with a refrigerator, safe box, and it came with a coffee maker. And then in here is the bathroom. Pretty spacious actually. We have a nice little sink, a small countertop, and then a stand-up shower. And we have a nice view over the Long Island skyscrapers.
Now that we have dropped off our stuff at the hotel, we finally get to go explore New York.
And we made it to Times Square. So we made it to Times Square and we're standing, I think, like across from like the center of Times Square. But just looking at it, I didn't know what to expect of Times Square. Everything that I always see is like the nighttime with all the billboards lit up. And being here during the day, it just looks like your average city with just a lot more electric billboards than you would probably see anywhere else.
Maybe Japan.
Maybe to Japan, but we haven't been to Japan yet. Off to our next little tour hopping for today, which is to the Grand Central Terminal.
As we're walking down the streets of New York, I'm just blown away by the buildings that we've seen. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. You'll pass by skyscrapers and then you pass by these beautiful brick buildings with just like crazy decoration, beautiful facades, and it's just something we've never experienced before. It's pretty awesome.
In such a dense place. I feel like normally you would see like the brick buildings further away from the skyscrapers. Here, they're all connected. It's really beautiful.
It's hard to keep my eyes on the sidewalk because I could just keep on wanting to look up. We are at the Grand Central Terminal and it is full of people commuting and tourists taking pictures because the inside of this building is beautiful. The ceiling of it is the stars and constellations, and then the walls are just this marble, and it's a really cool building.
There's nothing like being in the Big Apple than being in the Apple Store at the Grand Central Terminal.
Is this an Apple store?
Yes, this is a whole Apple store right now, all behind us, all on the upper floor. It's a beautiful spot to stand and look at the people and all of the promotion going on. We've seen the Grand Central Terminal and now we are walking through the streets again to get to the Empire State Building. Well, what do you, that looks like it says mom.
That's say mom.
As we walk through the streets, it is filled with everyone getting off of work, so everyone's in suits and nice outfits, really looking like classic New Yorker. New Yorker? Is that what
New Yorker.
Classic New Yorker. James and I are looking into investing. We thought about land.
We just need like $10 million, and then of course we can own a building in New York. Probably more, actually. We found the Empire State Building. But right now we're just going to admire the Empire State Building from afar. We know we can go to the top of it, but we have chosen to go to the top of another building. So we're going to see the Empire State Building at night a little bit later. It has been super cool to go to all of these spots and see these buildings that we've only seen in movies, and we're up close in person, able to see them, touch some of them, and it's just been an awesome time so far.
We had to make a little pit stop on our way to the High Line because we were starving, so we stopped at Cata Empanadas to eat a quick little empanada, $3 a piece. Not too bad of a price for an empanada.
Not bad, not bad.
But now we have 15 minutes to get there, and we are going to hopefully make it for sunset.
We have come to the High Line for sunset. The High Line is an abandoned elevated rail line that has been remodeled into a park that is 30 feet above the ground level of Manhattan. It's a really cool spot. Basically, they have this path that runs along the rail line, and on both sides they've planted tons of plants, flowers, and trees.
As we walk up this path, it is gorgeous. Every time we pass by a street, we get this beautiful view of the sunset, and every time we look, it's a different skyline and different colors because the sun's setting now.
Okay, we've been taking the subway while we're here in New York, and it's a little bit more complicated than I would say Shanghai is, because on the same railroad tracks they have different cars or different trains that go to different places. So you have to pay attention to not only the line that you're on, but also the train number or letter. We're figuring it out. GPS helps a lot. It tells us which direction to go to and which letter to get on. We went to the top of the rock, expecting to go to the top because we had bought our tickets online. However, they directed us to the ticket counter where we showed them our online vouchers, is what they called them, and they had to reserve a time for us to go up, and the only time available was an hour and a half later at 9:40 p.m. So we decided to change our tickets for another night, and instead we walked out to the Rockefeller Center where they had a cool roller rink, and then we found this place for dinner called Bill's Burgers.
So we are going to enjoy our dinner here, say good night to you guys, but we'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early because we are heading to the Statue of Liberty. Good morning! It is our second day here in New York, and we've woken up bright and early so we can make it to the Statue of Liberty for the first ferry cruise. We took the metro here. It's pretty simple.
It was a nice 30-minute ride on the metro. We had to switch at Grand Central, but we're really figuring out the metro, and it's really easy to get around the city.
Yeah, there was one little guy that was having a little freak out on it this morning, but it wasn't too bad. But we're walking through Battery Park right now, next to this cute little dog park. As we were walking towards the ferry, we can see the Statue of Liberty in the distance. It looks kind of small, but I know it's not going to be as small as it is from a distance. We have made it onto the ferry this morning. They stopped us because the boat was going a little back and forth. We thought we weren't going to make the first ferry, but we did. Luckily, we have 2 spots right next to the edge. I'm not really sure if we're going to be able to see Statue of Liberty from this side, though. Just depends on which direction it goes, I guess. But This boat is already packed full of people, and it's only a Wednesday morning. We managed to get super lucky and have the perfect view of the Statue of Liberty. So go on the side.
Right side.
Go on the right side, so the side that you enter. That's where you want to stand. We have this beautiful view. We already saw our face. Because we got on the ferry at 9 o'clock this morning, we were one of the first groups of people to get to the Statue of Liberty Island. And there were a lot of people on the boat, but it doesn't feel like it at all.
This island is huge, so even with all the people that were on that ferry, and that ferry was packed, it doesn't feel crowded here.
There's not a lot of shade at all either. Like there's not a lot of trees. So we're staying in the one area that's shaded before we walk around because it is super hot today and it's only 9:30 in the morning.
One interesting thing so far is there's tons of helicopters that keep flying like right above the statue. The helicopter tours literally just like get right next to it. It feels like they're almost gonna crash into it when we were watching them from the boat.
Yeah. So if you have the money, if we had the money, I would do it.
Yeah, I would definitely do a helicopter tour if we could.
Maybe we can get sponsored in like 5 years.
It's so bright. Yeah. On the, what is the thing called? Pedestal. You can already see people on the pedestal. We have walked all around the Statue of Liberty so far, getting a full 360 degrees view of the statue.
As we stand looking at the Statue of Liberty, you can see the amount of details that was put into it when it was being made. And it is super cool. I don't know, it's spectacular how much detail there is. Like the Roman numerals on the tablet are 3D. The torch is golden. Her crown has small like holes that I think you may be able to go up to the very top and look out. But
I like how the torch really shines in the sun and it really looks like a flame when the sunlight hits it. And the entire statue is made of copper, so that's why it's green, because the copper is oxidized and changed to green. It was originally brown.
It's just cool. I mean, crazy. I think the green looks a lot better than maybe brown would.
Yeah, it's definitely more
pop. It gives it a pop.
Pops more in the sky.
So who built the sculpture, Jerry?
The original name of the Statue of Liberty was Liberty Enlightening the World, and it was designed by the architect Bertoldi, who put several symbols of liberty and freedom in the statue. At the feet of the Statue of Liberty are broken shackles, which represent the abolishment of slavery. She's holding a stone tablet, which represents the law, and it also has the date of the American independence. Her crown are 7 rays of sunlight, which represent liberty spreading throughout the world. And the torch represents enlightening liberty, which refers back to her original name. The Statue of Liberty is the most iconic symbol of freedom in the United States.
The 9 a.m. ticket was probably the best because of where the sun is situated. You can see the Statue of Liberty's face clearly, where if we were to come in the afternoon, the statue would have been having the sun in the back and it would have been super dark. Perfect time.
Morning is the best time for pictures. However, there's no shade, so you'll be in direct sunlight. If you come during the summer, it's going to be very, very hot.
Brutally hot.
The Statue of Liberty has been restored several times, and the latest restoration in the 1980s actually replaced the torch from a gilded lighthouse to a solid copper plating that is lit from the outside to reflect light. Touch.
It is so big. I think that's as tall as you. The statue itself is 151 feet tall, but when you add the pedestal, it's 305 feet all the way from the ground to the very top. The structure of the Statue of Liberty is just made out of pure copper.
It's big. It's a big face.
And the skin weighs 179,000 pounds. Insane to me how much that it weighs and how tall it is.
We just went through the Statue of Liberty Museum, and it is really awesome to go through. We would suggest probably going through it first and then going to see the Statue of Liberty, because it gives you so much information about each part of the Statue of Liberty, how it was made, who made it, and the ideals for why they made it. They also talk about why the Liberty Island was chosen as the spot for the Statue of Liberty, because New York was the gateway to the New World, and the first thing that immigrants coming to America would see is the Statue of Liberty.
We are now at Ellis Island. So Ellis Island used to be the first stop that immigrants would take when coming to America.
This is the registry hall, like waiting room, where new immigrants would come to America and wait in this hall before they were inspected by immigration officers, and then they would be able to either go into America or declined access and have to go back home.
We just spent the last hour walking around the Ellis Island Museum, and it is so informative and very interesting, and learning about the immigration process. On the second floor, we walked through the process of how immigrants, when they arrived, and the process and the questions that they went through. Downstairs, they have a registry for you to find out if your ancestors came through Ellis Island. They actually have an online function as well, which we will do back at home, so we don't have to pay the $10 fee. But it's still pretty cool that they have all of this access available. Now we are gonna get back in line to get on the boat to go to New York before we relax a little bit, eat some good food, because we are going to the Broadway show tonight. We are currently in Washington Square Park, which is filled with NYU students, tourists, vendors. Everyone is out today, even though it is so hot. It's a beautiful park to relax in.
It's called Washington Park because of the Washington Arch behind me, which is actually a replica of the first arch. The first arch was built for George Washington himself, and it was made out of wood when George Washington came through parading through New York. And the mayor of New York loved the arch so much that he decided to rebuild the arch in marble, like the one behind me.
This is where our next little New York adventure is going to start, which is a food tour. We're gonna do a whole video over the food tour in a separate video, so make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you know when our next video is.